Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE and online at kvre.com. Streaming online worldwide on your iHeartRadio as well. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Tracy, big week for you. Doing okay this week?
Very well. Mark, we got full. Of course, our hearts were set on a little bit different outcome from what had happened. But as it is, hey, look, it's all set up now real quickie. We're not going to go into it too deep. But, we'll go into it a little bit more next week. But, hey, Super Bowl, it's all set, whether it's the teams we want in there or not. But it is what it is.
That's right. The Super Bowl is set. There's a lot of big things happening around the sporting world. We're going to start this week's show in a different direction, though. Tracy, whenever I was a youngster, my grandparents owned a motel over on Park Avenue. And one of the things that my brother and I really liked to do, back in the day, you could ride your bicycle on the sidewalk. We'd ride our bikes downtown to the strip right there at the beginning of Central Avenue. And there was a card shop right there on that left-hand side next to the Pancake House. Our big thing back then was NBA basketball cards, but we also collected a few baseball cards in our time as well. I know that you have quite the collection with some very high dollar baseball cards in your collection as well. And I bring this up because there's been a sports topic that we haven't had the opportunity to mention that we're going to bring about now. So these days, trading cards, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey, even Pokemon cards. The trading card game in general right now is at the peak in collecting, scalping, and really just trying to find a way to invest and find value in material things right now. And one of the biggest trading cards on the entire planet right now is a Topps 2024 rookie patch autograph. It's a one of one, which means there's only one made, and it's Paul Skeens, the rookie pitching phenomenon for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, when Topps announced back in November that this card was going to be slid into one pack and one lucky person's going to get that Willy Wonka golden ticket, the Pittsburgh Pirates created an offer that said, hey, we don't know who's going to get this card, but for whoever gets this card, we want it, and we want it in our stadium for all the Skeens fans. Of course, Skeen phenomenon is crazy over in Pittsburgh right now, and it's great for a team that hasn't had a lot going for it in recent years, let's be honest with you. But the Pirates said, hey, whoever pulls this card, we're going to give you 2 season tickets directly behind home plate for the next 30 years. We're also going to give you a softball game for 30 of your friends at PNC Park, plus coaching from Pirates alumni and a spring training experience like none other. They're going to give you a private tour of Pirate City, a meet and greet with Paul Skeens, 2 Paul Skeens autographed jerseys. You get to do BP and warm-ups with the team, other unique experiences at Pirate City as well. And Paul Skeens' girlfriend, the social media influencer and gymnast Livy Dunn, tried to sweeten the deal and said, hey, you can enjoy Pirates game from my private suite with me. Seems like a pretty decent deal, maybe. Jury's out on that one. But here's the problem. The card was pulled. The card was pulled not in Pittsburgh, not anywhere close to Pennsylvania, but in Los Angeles, California. And by who? An 11-year-old boy. So, Tracy, you were 11-year-old once. I was 11-year-old once. Was the deal ever really attainable for anybody? Was it ever really good enough to be considered, or was this really just a publicity stunt by the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Stunt all the way. Stunt all the way. And look, just like you were saying right now, we're at a peak right now, okay? Cards collecting comes and goes through the years. And yes, I'm an avid collector, but it goes in waves. And right now, it's at the top of the wave right now. And it could crash at any time. You just got to ride the wave. And look, Paul Skeens, what he's worth today may not be worth next year, depending on a lot of factors in this. Okay, for one thing, is the guy in the Hall of Fame yet? No,
not quite.
Okay,
not quite.
I mean, he's no Roberto Clemente. Okay, let's just put
it has only been one year, however.
Let's put this out here. So a stunt, yes, with a capital S on there. But here's the kicker here too, though. You got an 11-year-old maybe an avid collector starting out, which is the bonus of all times, because this is when you start that young. I remember my cards, some of them, and this is how you really, really get the taste of it. And you know as well as I do, you probably still have some of yours left. I know I've hoarded them away, and they're going to be somewhere special till my kids get them or the grandkids or whatever. Now, with that all said and done, you start throwing these other factors in, okay? Going to practices, going to games. This is an 11-year-old in Los Angeles. When is he going to have time? Are they going to fly him out there, Mark? I mean, is Dunn going to fly him out there? What's the kicker
Will the
here,
school
Mark?
excuse the absences?
So, yeah, this was a marketing team. Did they mess up? Did that package actually didn't get sent to California instead of being where they should have placed it in Pittsburgh or somewhere in the surrounding areas? Maybe. But, a stunt that actually has gone not too well in their coordination. Now, look, as far as an 11-year-old, his parents will probably take a look at it and deal with that on a different level. But look, this card, what's value is today, you know as well as I do, whether it's Pokemon or basketball, baseball, or football, they come up and down. And right now, this card's at its top peak right now. It may get better if this guy, and I know, hey, look, this guy's a heck of a pitcher. We know that. But is he material for a card to go X amount of dollars like a Mickey Mantle that somebody has? No.
Well, that's what we like to call riding the hype train at this stage. A phenomenal rookie campaign. Looks like, looking ahead to the future, that he's going to do very, very good things in the league. Will he stay with Pittsburgh long term? Who knows? That's the team that drafted him, but who knows? Because if he continues to do well, you're going to see what we see in every major sport. All those other high-dollar suitors start coming. They start calling, and somehow the Los Angeles Dodgers find more money in their pocketbook and say, hey, how about you come to L.A., and that kid can come see you for the next 30 years.
There you go.
So here's the deal. So if you know about trading cards right now, it's not just about owning the card. You can actually increase the value of the card, which is crazy. There's only one of it. It's literally one of one embossed on the card. How can you make it even more? Well, these days, you can take your card to go get graded. It's basically analyzed by a company, looking at the corners and the centering and the condition, and it gets put inside this plastic slab where it's protected from the elements and light damage.
Acrylic.
That's right, acrylic slab, excuse me. Anyway, this card was walked in, not mailed in, but walked into the PSA offices where, to nobody's surprise, it received a pristine, perfect 10 out of 10 rating. The card value just skyrocketed it even more. Hype train, yes. Publicity stunt, absolutely. Who stood to gain the most from this? Well, here we are. It's segment 1 of our show at the end of January. It's not even baseball season, and we're talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates, okay? So the Pittsburgh Pirates have a lot to gain. Topps had a lot to gain because I'm telling you, a whole mess of trading cards and baseball cards have been sold, and the reason I know why is because I was trying to buy this pack of cards for months, and it has not been on store shelves. Even the hobby stores in town have not been able to keep them on the shelves. Everything's on back order. Everything's on back order because the supply and demand is so high. Here's the deal, Tracy. The Pirates offer, I don't know if it was ever a serious offer. Yes, they would love to have it there at PNC Park and probably have it on display and, probably a giant glass case for a little bitty trading card. But I would venture to guess that even Pittsburgh Pirates fans in the current generation, or even previous generations, probably don't even want season pass tickets for the next 30 years themselves.
No.
There's a lot of issues with this organization. They've been calling for this owner's head for months and months and years now. Paul Skeens could be the flashy new thing. We hope it checks out for Pirates baseball because, you know me, I love an underdog. And right now we're starting to see big dominance by the major market teams in the MLB. I'd love to see the Pittsburgh Pirates get back into the swing of things. But the fact of the matter is, an 11-year-old pulled the card, shared his journal entry online, saying it was the pull of a lifetime. You bet it was, because generational wealth is about to come his way and his family's way. Were they ever going to consider going to Pittsburgh and becoming Pittsburgh Pirate fans? Yeah, I doubt it. But the card is going to auction, which, it's one of those things where, you catch Barry Bonds' home run ball, or you catch Mark McGwire's record-breaking home run ball. yeah, those guys want those balls, but I mean, even those athletes know, even Paul Skeens knows that generational wealth could come to this family, to this child, by declining that offer. There was never a serious consideration there. Now, the card is,
not at all.
I have to say, the card is going to be put up for auction. Fanatics is one of the companies that's going to be auctioning the card off, and possible another publicity stunt. I don't know. The card will be auctioned off in LA, and Fanatics says instead of keeping its cut for doing the auction, taking care of the card and getting it sold, they're going to donate all proceeds to the LA Wildfire Relief Fund. Seems like another party, maybe a large party, also seems like it would benefit from this card as well.
Well, that's another backfire right there. They're going to auction off in L.A. I mean, why wouldn't they auction off in Pittsburgh?
Well, the card is pulled in LA. It's up to them. It's their card.
But you hit it right on. It's all a setup.
It does feel that way.
From the very beginning, Mark.
It does feel that way.
This was a media stunt from the very get-go. Now, look, in consideration to all the cards that these people put out in this company, $1 million is an approximate what they got it valued at right now. Look, that's not a lot of money. And I say that from a lot of, I mean,
maybe not in California. It's not.
To the baseball trading, there's some out there that can, but for a good cause. Now, this is just making it even sweeter for their company because they're going to give proceeds now back to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this right here, it smells all the way from get-go. Now, the beneficiary of it, of course, is this 11-year-old who now they're keeping under wraps, of course. They're trying to do their best, and it'll eventually come out. It's hard to talk about in public about a minor. I'll be honest with you, unless consent's got to go through parents, blah, blah, blah. That's part of it and stuff like that. But what I was talking about earlier, catching the wave, you better dump this right now. That's the best decision. Get him a college fund, get him something fun, whatever the case is. And then because you don't know what this card's going to be worth in 2 days, let alone 2 years or 20 years. I'm just telling you. So let it go. Good for this kiddo. Great for the stunt world. No, not so much. We'll live to see another card play another day.
Tracy, is there anything that the Pittsburgh Pirates could have done? So let's say it's you, an 11-year-old boy, you're in LA for whatever reason. Is there anything that the Pirates could have offered that would have allowed you to take the deal?
No, not at all. Nothing. Because, for one thing, I think this actually, if anything, Mark, I think it takes away from the game. I'll be honest with you. With the likes of, and I've got a Roberto Clemente card, and I know what it's worth. And to me, that card, and I know we're talking a monetary deal.
Sure.
But to me, the sport means so much more than a dollar value. And I know you're collecting the cards for the dollar value and what you're going to total up someday or whatever the case is. But a lot of folks who get these cards, they don't trade them away. They keep them no matter what the value is. And this, I think, my personal opinion, is taken away from the game. Nothing against Paul Skeens. I know he's a great player and stuff like that. But to have that Roberto card, I think that was just more special because, you think of Pittsburgh Pirates, who do you think of? It's Paul Skeens?
Maybe down the road. But
maybe down the road, but not right now. But
maybe not right now.
I think this is a stunt that went backwards, and I think that this kid's doing the best thing. Auction off, be done with it. Let's go on with the next blitz and go on with our next quarter.
When we come back, we'll talk about an NBA topic that has been quite the firestorm over the past month. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition continues in a moment on 92.9 KVRE.
Second quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, the NBA trade deadline is just 5 days away, and a huge name that's potentially up on the trading block is Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat. There's been quite the controversy happening in South Beach over really the past month or so, as Butler asked for a 2-year max extension at the end of last season, and team president Pat Riley stuck to his morals and said, no, you are not getting that extension. You have had some injury concerns over the past 7 years. You've done well. You've helped lead us to an NBA Finals, but we don't know what the future looks like for you. You're in year 14 of your NBA career. We can't commit to that extension. And that's how the fight started. So more drama. It started off with a two-game suspension here, 5-game suspension here, and now this week, Jimmy Butler has been suspended indefinitely by the Miami Heat for conduct detrimental to the team. He had returned to practice after serving his suspension, and then upon learning that he was no longer going to be in the starting lineup, he briefly walked right back out and left the facility. This has been an ongoing saga, not only with Butler and the Miami Heat, but if you really think about this, in years past, we've seen this with Jimmy Butler with the Minnesota Timberwolves. We've seen this with the Chicago Bulls. And not with Jimmy Butler only. We've seen this with other big names across the NBA. Ben Simmons, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. There's a culture shift happening right now in the NBA where big stars are figuring out that they are valued so highly that they can withstand the penalty of conduct detrimental to the team. They can withstand being suspended even without pay because they know at the end of the day, if they want something, if they want some certain outcome, like in this instance where Jimmy Butler was like, if you're not going to pay me, trade me, they know that they can do pretty much whatever they want, act however they want, and ultimately they will get their way.
You know, and Mark, that's what, I'll be honest with you, they brought this on themselves. That's the way I feel about it. The owners, these general managers, everybody in connection to the office upstairs has brought this on themselves. They have pushed this money, this entitlement is what I'm going to call it, to all these players, giving them and I'll just say the big head, and that they think they can do anything. They're, so to speak, above the law. And literally in some cases, we'll give, for instance, over at the Grizzlies. I'm not going to give no names or anything. And even though they get fined a little bit, you think they care? They've been making so much money these days. Well, this is almost like a little vacation to them. They can sit back.
Oh, I got a day off?
Yeah,
5 days off?
A half a year. Who cares?
Right.
I've got this much money. This is just time for me to sit back, maybe get healed a little bit if I got a nick here and go on a vacation, an extended vacation in some cases. But they brought this on themselves, Mark. As I've said this so many times, I think these guys, and I'm not all of them, okay? I'm not putting every one of them in the same pen, all right? But they have put this into a situation where not only the big head, but they think that certain stuff doesn't stink. I'll just put it like that.
Sure.
Keep the show clean. And that they think that at this point in time, whatever they do is the right thing. And a lot of them, though, now I'm going to tell you what too here, Mark, is what you're seeing here too is these agents are getting dropped right and left. And because they get them into the system, and then you're seeing these guys fire their agents once they, have the contract elapse or something like that. And then they think they know it all. And I'm not saying these agents are by any means the smartest guys, but a lot of them are attorneys. A lot of them have the knowledge of handling these certain instances, and they used to resolve these issues. Now you've got players that think they know everything. Well, and once again, these owners, these managers, these front offices have brought it on themselves by giving, to the extent. Now, what do? Do you trade him? Just like you said, how many teams can he go through before he causes another fracas? And you drop them. It's almost like some of these coaches, they get fired for maybe having contract disputes or maybe illegally doing something, and you get rid of them, and then another team picks them up.
They just get
How much?
brought
They
right
get right back in.
Brought right back in.
So is it the system, Mark, or is it that's done it to itself?
Well, it is the system that's done it to himself, and that system is the NBA. And, here it's really rewarding bad behavior. Now, I don't necessarily want to say that it's the Miami Heat rewarding bad behavior.
Exactly.
Pat Riley's owned this team for 30 years, and there have been some big names that have walked in the door down in Miami in recent years in championships. Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, of course, Jimmy Butler coming in, led him to an NBA Finals. They just didn't get it done. Alonzo Mourning, if you even want to go back further back in the 90s. So Pat Riley has had very big names walk in and do great things for this organization. But something Pat Riley has also been able to do, love him or hate him, he's not loyal to anybody. And he's let big names walk whenever he felt like their prime was over. Shaq out the door. D. Wade out the door. LeBron left, of course. Chris Bosh done. Jimmy Butler most likely will be out the door as well.
No, he's gone.
Pat Riley stayed on his merits and said, hey, we are not giving you the extension. We are also not trading you. That was about a month ago. It's changed a little bit, right? Because Butler has stuck to his morals here as well, and he's made things really as difficult as possible, trying to take separate flights to Milwaukee for the game, flying solo against the
missing practices and just not even showing up.
Not showing up.
Shoot arounds.
Against the Phoenix Suns. The Heat played the Phoenix Suns. Jimmy Butler came out wearing shoes in Phoenix Suns colors. Of course, that's the destination that he hopes to get out of a trade deadline. He wants to go play with Beal and Booker and Kevin Durant in Phoenix and try to lead them to an NBA title. There's some other suitors out there that might be really good fits for Butler as well, because now the Golden State Warriors are starting to pop up as an option. The Milwaukee Bucks are starting to pop up as an option for Giannis and Damian Lillard. What a big three that could be, adding Butler to the mix. But it's a double-edged sword, because this type of behavior has been rewarded so long for so many years now. Can you blame Butler? Because the system allows for players to do this and get the outcome they want. Why not continue the trend here? But here's the deal. We saw it with Butler in Minnesota, in Chicago. We're watching it firsthand right now in Miami. Who's to say that when he goes to Phoenix or Golden State or Milwaukee, whenever he's not happy, that he just won't do it again? The NBA values money over integrity. And it's not necessarily the team's fault. Miami, I feel like, is doing everything right. They're suspending him without pay. They're trying to stick to their guns and not bend to crybaby antics here from a big upper echelon player. However, they're still trying to push forward with their season. They're a team that is still very much in the playoff picture, and Eric Spoelstra, as we've seen in years past, is a pretty good coach in the NBA. So if it's just about the money, that's one thing. But I do wonder if Butler wants out of Miami for some other reason that has not been brought to light, maybe will not be brought to light if his agent tells him to keep his mouth shut. But it does make me wonder, and I do put on the tinfoil hat for a moment, why big free agent signings of years past, like Kevin Durant or even Damian Lillard, didn't end up in Miami, although they said that they would consider that as a destination. What outcome might we see here? I believe that Jimmy Butler will be traded at the deadline. I think the conduct detrimental to the team is going to end up, that designation I think is going to end up saving Miami a little bit of money, because they owe him some money. He's still under contract with the Miami Heat, so they may get a little bit of a discount there. Another team that takes him may be on the hook for the rest of that contract, so they might save a buck or two and might be able to use that to get another piece for the trade deadline. I absolutely think he's going to be traded. I don't think they hang on to him, because the distraction, I think, is too much for the team to bear right now, as they're really middle of the pack and trying to make the playoffs this year.
Okay, Mark. Okay, let's back up a little bit. Okay, these antics, right? Whatever, this is not the first case scenario. This guy, I mean, we're seeing a long line of this happening now all of a sudden. And what's going on as far as the owners, the coaches, they're not, whatever they're doing, their antics aren't working. So what needs to happen? I mean, not that they're going to listen to us anyway. I think I know what needs to happen, because you were seeing this reoccur more than once.
Yes.
Okay. So
multiple teams.
And this is not going to be, this ain't going away. They don't care about money anymore. They want to play. Of course, we know that.
Sure.
So what do you do to a player who's got all the money, maybe not happy where he's playing? What do you do to a player that's acting like this?
Tell me.
You call the commissioner, and the commissioner lays down the law and suspends them for a year. Because if it comes from the coach, hey, you know what? And just like they're doing right now, we saw it already this year with not wanting to play all the games and stuff. All right? So did they get fined? Yeah, whatever they get. I don't want to play that game. But the fans are the ones that are missing out. And they're the ones that are the tickets. They're the ones buying these tickets, buying the Cokes, buying the popcorn. And the one that oversees all that is the commissioner. And he's the one that's going to have to put his foot down right now. Because I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot hungrier. I know there may not be as good as Butler, but there's players coming up from all sorts of different college teams that are the future and that want to play and want to make the fans happy. And if the commissioner don't put his foot down, then this is going to keep going and keep going and keep going.
I don't disagree with you.
These are crybabies. These are crybabies, just like you said.
You know, Adam Silver has been really grasping for straws, trying to find that moment that's going to define his legacy. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not the NBA Cup that happens during the middle of the season, the in-season tournament.
God.
But if he puts his foot down and reestablishes the integrity of this game, yeah, we could see that maybe going a long way when we remember what Adam Silver has done for the game, which right now there's not anything that really kind of sticks out as just that big, talking point for him. I think it's a double-edged sword, though, because yes, you could suspend somebody for a year, rest of the season, one full season, whatever. But who takes the biggest hit from that? It's really the organizations themselves. The teams themselves lose out on a moneymaker. If that star player is not there, do the fans show up and buy that popcorn, buy that Coke? That I don't know. I assume that's a money loser for organizations that they don't want to take. But I guess you just have to evaluate the trade-off. Is the distraction?
Yeah, that's the deal.
Is the distraction and the controversy and the negative attention worth it? Or is doing the right thing for the integrity of the game more valuable in the long run? I want to hear from you, the listener. You can text us on this topic, 501-915-1300. What should the NBA do with stars that act in this way to get moved to a different team? And, they're ultimately trying to go win a championship, and they'll do whatever it takes to be removed from their situation. What is the correct response from the NBA here? Once again, 501-915-1300. We'll take a break. More of our show coming up next. This is Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE.
Third quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com. With Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, I've been in broadcasting. This year will be 17 years in sports broadcasting for me. And this week, I got to toot my horn a little bit because I had the opportunity to knock off a broadcast bucket list item off of my plate. And I'm super excited for that. And on Monday, I had an opportunity to call my first perfect game in my broadcast career. And that's where the self-accolades end, because we've got to congratulate National Park College Nighthawks softball sophomore pitcher Bailey Cowell. She hails from Lamar, just outside of Clarksville, and she had the day to remember on Monday through the program's first perfect game as NPC swept Central Baptist College on opening day, mind you, the first game of the season, a 5-0 gem in the opener. She retired 21 straight batters, racking up 7 strikeouts to achieve history. There has only been 2 no-hitters in Nighthawk history prior to this game. First perfect game for baseball or softball at NPC. The sophomore's big day was nearly broken up in the top of the 4th inning when the Mustangs looked like they had a base hit to the outfield. It was wiped away because the batter left the batter's box and were called out on strikes instead. From there, it was smooth sailing for Cowell and the Nighthawks defensively. They were very quick to the ball. Great communication there. Nighthawks were able to light up the scoreboard in the 5th inning with 3 runs across. Jessica Sweer, Taylor Southern, and Carly Morale all come up very, very big. Bree Phillips as well, one of the new faces for the team. They added 2 more runs in the 6th inning and took the 5-0 victory. And of course, the final out that Cowell recorded, ground ball back to the pitcher. So she got to throw it over to Jessica Sweer at first to complete the perfect game. What an event. What a great occasion. And on opening day, the first game of the season, future seems like it's pretty bright for the Nighthawks this year.
Mark, what a memory that'll enshrine forever and ever, not only at NPC allure, but also, once again, we talk about this, Thanksgiving, Christmas, anytime families get together, or when she sees her fellow softball players, stuff, it's just, I can't even imagine, let alone that feat, but let alone something of that nature happening. And over here at NPC, and we tell this all the time, you guys out there and gals listening, look, this can happen here locally. Locally, you don't have to go anywhere. We love commenting about local efforts, and we get so many great stories about local talent and Arkansas talent coming right here to MPC. And what a great story. And what a great feat, Mark. Pretty cool.
It's the 13th career win for Bailey Cowell, who is chasing Jaden Hart's all-time record this season. A lot of records expected to fall for Coach Autumn Wyatt's Nighthawk women this year. Of course, they finished in the championship round of the Plains District Tournament last year in Ardmore, Oklahoma. I made the trip, broadcasted that whole thing.
And a trip. The trip.
It was
the trip.
And
Mark.
those are games that I will never forget. What a journey that was. But Cowell is already the program's all-time leader in ERA. She's fourth all-time in pitching wins. And she's up there in the top 5 in strikeouts as well. Looks like it'd be a very big season for Cowell and the Nighthawks. Nighthawks did end up winning game 2 as well. They walked it off in the bottom of the 7th inning for a 10-9 victory to open the season 2-0. And of course, the Nighthawk softball team on the road this weekend. They're playing in the Mardi Gras Invitational down in Youngsville, Louisiana. They got some big games on tap later today. They take on Pearl River Community College at 12:30. Followed by a date with LSU Eunice at 3 p.m. Also on the road in Louisiana this weekend, Nighthawk baseball. Coach Rich Thompson's Nighthawks opened the season 1-0 after a run rule victory over Philander Smith University, and now they take that 1-0 record down to Eunice, Louisiana to take on Division I, number 9, the Eunice Bengals, also the reigning Division II national champions. Here's the deal. On junior college baseball, at this level of baseball, many of your current MLB top prospects took their journey not through four-year NCAA, but through junior college LSU Eunice. That is the training ground. That is the diamond in the rough in terms of getting your name into that MLB draft. The Nighthawks looking to go and upset the defending champions. Big game today down in Louisiana.
No doubt about that, man. And Mark, we've seen this years and years and years now. And it's coming a little bit more prevalent, I think, with these junior colleges with, kids wanting to get a little bit more foundation, I should say. And because here's what you do get at these junior college level. I think your coaching aspect gets a little tighter. Of course, the competition level is unbelievable, but I think that you get a little bit more insight on the game itself and that you build your skill up at that level. Because the competition, of course, I don't care whether you have junior college or Division I or whatever, a Power 5. Look, you just get a little bit more one-on-one, so to speak, and I think you know the game and you get to practice a little bit more with one-on-one from the coach. You see too many of these young men and women going to the next level from these junior colleges. Some of them get overlooked, but I'm telling you what, not so much anymore. A lot of eyes are going to these junior colleges and pulling them out of those ranks, and that way they know where they're going the third and fourth time. But education-wise, you're getting a great education. You're getting one-on-one. I think it's great for everybody, the system, the whole 9 yards.
Another couple of sports that are doing very, very well at NPC right now, men and women's basketball, just less than a month away from the end of the regular season. And at the time of our recording, NPC Nighthawk basketball right there in the hunt for the number 1 seed, both on the women's side and the men's side. The Nighthawk women have had a couple of heartbreakers as of late. Real hot start to the season, lost a couple back-to-back conference games with SAU Tech and Shorter College. Despite those losses, Coach Eddie Broughton Sr.'s Nighthawk women are still sitting pretty in that number 1 spot in Region 2 play. They've got a very big home game coming up February 6th against the University of Arkansas Cossatot. That's a 5:30 tip-off. Nighthawk men will be in action for that game as well. Now, but for the Nighthawk men, their story's been a little bit different. Coming off of, they lost 3 out of 4 about a week ago in their first 3-game home losing streak ever in program history. But the team has bounced back in a big way. Big road win over SAU Tech. They beat Arkansas State University Newport at home. They beat Shorter College by a nail-biter 73-71 at home on Monday. They're back in the driver's seat, just half a game out of first place in the Region 2 standings. Had a huge game with South Arkansas College on Thursday. They'll be on the road Monday at Phillips Community College up in Helena, the West Helena area. And this is a team, the Roadrunners, a team that beat NPC, delivering the Nighthawks' first home loss in 2 years. to end the 2024 calendar year. Huge matchup coming up on the road, 7:30 p.m. Monday night for Dion Hargrove's Nighthawk men.
Yep. And once again, we've seen the resurgence of just at every level, not only of softball, baseball, basketball. It's just something that these guys go out in, day in, and I know they have the losing streak, but you're going to have that, Mark. When you have such a great season like you did last year, it's hard to repeat. I'll be honest with you.
Sure it is.
But at a 2-year level, you've got kids, it's hard to establish any kind of ground game, should I say, as far as somebody coming in at a 4-year college, you've got 2 to 3 years of get preface, and then all of a sudden, boom, you come out in that third and fourth. Here, you got to get and go. It's just that simple, and it's a little hard, not only on the players, but definitely on the coaches. So, look, they're going to hit skids. There's no doubt about that. They're going to hit skids. But the resurgence level, the coaching staff, you know that they got them in. Mark, you've seen them more than anybody, and you've called more than any of them. I think there's still quite a bit of play left to go, and we're just now getting to the meat of the matter.
Of course, both squads are still in search of the program's first Region 2 postseason championship. Yes, the Nighthawk men won the national title, but they did not win the regional title or even advance to the district stage. So there's still some attainable goals for both of these programs. And let's face it, we're here in February. They're bumped up, they're bruised up. There's been some injuries for this squad, but the depth and the wealth of this bench has come in and allowed these teams to not miss a beat. Parrish Norfleet is a huge name for this Nighthawk women's squad, a very well-rounded freshman guard from Wichita Falls, Texas. And then on the men's side, a young man who did very big things on the high school level for the Maumelle Hornets. His name is Addison Shelton. He has filled in. The Nighthawk men are down their leading scorer, Shamir Carruthers, right now due to injury. Shelton has come in, and the Nighthawks are on a 3-game winning streak as of recording, coming in thanks to his leadership on the court just as a freshman. So these guys, these coaches, these staffs, they have meticulously handpicked these athletes to step up when their number is called. And if you want to see some really good basketball, Region 2 basketball, which features all of the Arkansas teams across the Natural State, there are 2 more home games remaining for National Park College this year. February 6th against University of Arkansas Cossatot, and then the last home game, sophomore night, where all the sophomores will be honored, February 13th. That's a Thursday, 5:30 and 7:30. A huge rivalry game with North Arkansas College from Harrison coming to the Kettle.
I love it, man. And guys, get out and enjoy these games. Even when the weather's bad, you know what? It looks nice and warm inside there, because I guarantee you it gets heated up real quick. And when you got the likes of this guy across from me calling the games, it always gets exciting. So a lot of action, a lot of activities for not only at NBC, but the surrounding areas. Get out and see these games and man, support local. I can't say that enough, Mark. And there's not a bad seat in the house there, is there?
There really isn't. It is a great place to play high energy. The student section is either going to have you fired up or laughing with their antics. Quick, funny story. So in that game against Shorter College, one of the young men from National Park College in the student section had a megaphone out there. And, they like to scream whenever there's free throws, try to throw the other team off or whatever. The officials came over and said, hey, you can't have a megaphone in the stands unless you're a cheerleader. So that young man went and joined the Nighthawk cheer team for the rest of the game with his megaphone. You better believe he did. Stories like that, moments like that. You don't see him on the live stream. My camera angle sometimes gets there, but you have to be there in person to really witness the beauty of it. 2 more home games, February 6th and 13. Hey, you mentioned local. We got a huge local roundup coming your way next to close out this week's show. Don't go anywhere. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition back in a moment on 92.9 KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
The fourth quarter is here on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE with Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, high school basketball alive and well all across the central Arkansas listening area right now. Big games, big teams, and big showdowns yet to come in the next week. First, we've got to begin right here close to home, where a tough loss, the first loss of the season for Cutter Morningstar varsity girls basketball, we had a feeling this was going to be a tough one. Last Friday, they went on the road to Dirks. They fall 45-37 to the Outlaws. Tough loss there. Of course, it was a tough game when this was played at Cutter Morning Star back in December, with the Lady Eagles squeaking out a 65-63 win. But after that loss, they rebounded in a big way. The Lady Eagles did, taking care of business against Caddo Hills at home, 53-21. At the time of our recording, Cutter Morning Star still sitting pretty, 20-1 on the season. 9-1 in conference play.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, and once again, Mark, and I reiterated this during my weekly show just the other day. I think still in our area, and just like we did in football, in our region, I think we're going to have somebody come up
Yes.
and go to state championship. I really do. I think it's viable, and I know that they play against each other, but we've got a couple of different teams right here in our backyard that are proven to be one of the best, not only in the region, but in the state. And man, oh man, you talk about getting after it. You've called these games, man. Girls basketball is like volleyball. It is, man, they get after it, and it's fun to watch, too.
I'll tell you right now, it's that Caitlin Clark effect that transitions to all levels of the sport. And high school girls basketball is at the top of the peak right now. Another big team. They may not be 20-1 on the year, but they're still off to a very good season, and that is Mountain Pine, the Lady Red Devils under Coach Pierce, sitting in that number 3 spot in the conference, just behind Dirks and Cutter Morning Star, 14-7 on the season, 8-2 at home, which could be a very big deal on Monday, because the game of the year, the game of the century, Mountain Pine, Cutter Morning Star are going to go to battle in the Pinewood on Monday night. The Lady Eagles and Lady Red Devils. If you don't have anywhere to be Monday night, that's where you need to be.
Hey, you talk about fun and excitement, high level. Wow. Just get ready, gang, because this is one, just like you've always said, Mark, and we throw the records out the window. It doesn't matter when it comes to
Huge
these.
rivalry game.
This right here, just get ready for intensity. It's just that simple. And I mean high level, and some teams are going to get after it. And, Mark, I'm going to remind what you said earlier. Hey, look, even at NPC, the Nighthawks, they didn't win their tournament, but they won the national. So,
correct.
Look, don't hesitate to watch one of these teams that maybe have a less record come back and win the tournament and then go on, or maybe not win the tournament and then go on to state. This could happen with either one of these teams, don't you think, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. These teams are still well in the driver's seat, because when you get to the postseason and you have to start playing at different sites, remember, neutral sites, you're not on your home floor anymore. So, you start... It starts to get to the point where, it's really anybody's ball game and who steps up in that moment. Dirks could get tripped up just as well as Cutter or Mountain Pine could get tripped up in one of these tournaments as well. But, just like you said, these two teams with the seasons that they're having, knowing their stories, knowing the back. We've had Coach Thomas on the show for Cutter Morning Star, and it was a great interview. And just getting that inside behind the scenes sneak peek look at the team and what really made them great is such a good story, and you can't help but to root for these squads to get it done in the end. Another team that's off to a blazing hot start on the boys basketball side. They may be the best team in the state of Arkansas, period. Saline County's Benton Panthers, undefeated in conference play, 17-3 overall, and this is one of the best conferences in the entire state. You have Hot Springs, the Trojans, right on their heels at 7-1, Lake Hamilton right not too far behind at 6-3, even Lakeside right there at 5-4 in the mix. You have other good teams such as White Hall, El Dorado even there in the mix as well. Someone from this conference, has to be in the driver's seat for possibly winning the state championship in the 5A.
No doubt about it. And, once again, you're talking high level, but this happens whether you're in 2A, 5A, or whatever the case is. You're talking about energy. And when you go and watch these teams, especially with this conference, they know each other all too well, Mark. And here locally, whether it's Lakeside, Hot Springs, Lake Hamilton, Benton, whatever the case is, these guys get after it. And I mean, every one of these games are intense. And so with all of them in the mix right now, this is going to be just something for, any one of these games. Go check them out, gang. And then here's what the kicker is, Mark. You're going to see some of these kids that are playing in one of these. They're going to be at the next level. You know that. they're going to be playing somewhere at the next level next year. So go and watch, and then you determine who you think maybe you'll be watching at a next level college.
3 losses for this Benton Panthers team, and I have to tell you that 2 of those losses are to out-of-state teams. The only in-state loss is to Little Rock Central,
yes,
one of the best teams in the state in Class 6A. It was a 5-point loss to Little Rock Central, but they're blowing guys out. They're even against other big schools and big competition, like your Bryants of the world. Beat Bryant by 10, beat Lake Hamilton by 18 earlier this month, and beat a number of really talented out-of-state teams as well. Benton looks like it's in the driver's seat to doing some really great things on the boys basketball side. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit, Tracy, because later today, actually happening right now out at Majestic Park in Hot Springs, it's the 4th annual Dugan Invitational, a huge tournament. You're going to see multiple college athletes out there giving it their all. At 1 o'clock today, Southern Arkansas takes on UA Fort Smith. At 4 o'clock today will be first pitch between Ouachita Baptist and Washburn. A whole slew of games tomorrow as OBU takes on Missouri Southern. Henderson State will take on UAFS. Southern Arkansas takes on Washburn. And then on Monday, Washburn and Southern Arkansas. So a lot of these guys on these teams that you'll see out at Majestic Park were born and raised, grew up, learned to love the game right here in Central Arkansas, and the opportunity to come back close to home, play at the beautiful facilities at Majestic Park. It is an opportunity like none other. You can see very great baseball talent this weekend at Majestic Park in Hot Springs.
And the weather is absolutely gorgeous. There's no excuses. And let me tell you this, Mike Dugan was a special guy. I'll be honest with you. The guy knew not only baseball, but he knew sports in general and was an all-around, just a good guy. Met him several years ago when he was the SID down at Henderson, and just a joy to be around. And there's no, I mean, this honor here is just said. It's one of the best names we could have given this tournament too. And sure enough, always brings some good teams out, and we just hope for the best for everybody. But come on out and enjoy it. A great facility. You've heard Mark and I talk about it all the time. And this is just special to be around with the likes of Mike Dugan, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, what a great way to continue a great man's legacy. And I hope it continues for years and years and years, because Majestic Park really just feels like the kind of place where memories are made and are never forgotten. In the case of Mike Dugan, of course, the perfect game with Bailey Cowell also happening at Majestic Park this past week. Loved the graphic up on the video screen that they put up, by the way. Also, thanks to John Muldoon for his help on that one. Let's turn the tables a little bit more. Happening right now all across the Central Arkansas listening area, the local Pee Wee basketball championships for 3rd through 6th grade boys and girls. Many local area teams are vying for championships today, including Mount Ida, Mountain Pine, Cutter Morning Star, Magnet Cove, Poen, and Ouachita. Now, I may be a little bit biased here, Tracy. Kill me. But on the Mountain Pine side, some stats that were given to me this week that I knew I had to pass along. The Mountain Pine 3rd grade Pee Wee girls are undefeated 10-0.
Oh.
The 4th grade girls, undefeated 10-0. The 5th grade girls, 9-1. Slight blemish. The 6th grade girls, who in my opinion could beat many senior girls basketball teams in this area, 10-0. And of course, my son plays on the 5th grade boys, 10-0. The 6th grade girls for Mountain Pine are looking for their 4th consecutive Pee Wee championship today. Never lost a championship since 3rd grade. Never lost... I think they've lost twice. We had Derek Walker on the show. They lost 2 games at the beginning, and their winning streak is 80-plus games at this point. Mountain Pine 5th grade boys are looking for their 3rd consecutive championship today. They'll be playing in Magnet Cove, trying to bring home that title. Best of luck to Coach Tony Rookard and all the guys on that one. And Tracy, I don't know how much time we have left, but if we have another minute here or so, I want to briefly put out there that this week, my son's 5th grade boys at Mountain Pine suffered their first loss ever in Pee Wee basketball. Undefeated since 3rd grade. Benton came to town at the old gym at Mountain Pine. Nail-biter of a ball game. Mountain Pine led big in the first half. Benton roared back in the second half. Tied literally with no time left on the clock. came down to a Benton Panthers free throw, missed the first one, swished the second one, 35-34. Mountain Pines' first loss. The kids were torn up about it. And they asked me not to talk about it on here, but I want to talk about it because if those guys are listening, they need to know. You mentioned it before. The Nighthawk men lost in the regional championship, went on to win the title. Sometimes a loss builds character. And I think that's something that's a lesson that you can use on any level of sports. It might hurt. It might sting. There might be tears. You might be upset. But how you take that loss and how you build on it to get better and push forward and go on to do great things determines who you are, not only as an athlete, but as a person. Best of luck today, guys. That's our show, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. This is 92.9 at KVRE, and we've been online at kvre.com. Tracy, great show. We'll see you next week.
No doubt about that. Game over.